Hey everybody, welcome to the most recent pay-per-view slash PLE that's happened, and the second, maybe even third, no, I'm right, second most recent WWE show. Everybody gasp, ready? One, two, three. But welcome to SummerSlam. Dylan here. We're going to review the show that honestly played it safe in my opinion. I'll say more on that later, but still a good show. Anyway, without spoiling my opinion of it, let's get right into it. Are you ready? Are you ready? The show starts off with the graphic, like, the whole, like, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I think it was, like, C4 and the Wheatley vodka. It's like, blah, 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 presents SummerSlam. That graphic crap. And then Michael Cole welcomes us to the Cleveland Brown Stadium in, you guessed it, Cleveland, Ohio. After that and a little bit of shelling, Triple H comes out and he walks like halfway up the entrance. Smart man. This is a long ass ramp, so he was smart, only walking about maybe a fourth. It wasn't even a half. He walks up, says hi to everybody, and does his normal like, Cleveland, are you ready? That normal like Triple H's bit thing. Yeah, he does everything to like hype up people, and then we get a performance from Jellyroll. I don't understand why this is a WWE thing. I get it. You'll hear me say this multiple times in this review. When push comes to shove, I get it. They're a business at the end of the day, and maybe like two or three people are like, "Ooh, there's a live performance, rad," or maybe that's like what they had to do, swing the deal in to get Jelly Roll on the show. But I don't get why they have live performances. But hey, if it works, it works. Maybe I'm just a bitter old man. After that, the Miz comes out. He's in the crowd, and then he like hypes up everybody. And then after the hype up, Rhea Ripley and Dom are shown backstage, and they talk about the match that's coming up of Liv versus Rhea. For people who subscribed to Peacock, they got like a little hype package, I presume. For people like me, we had to sit through a bunch of commercials. Womp womp. So yeah, the match is pretty good. I think it was, I don't know exact times. I didn't keep up with that. But I think it was about I think each one of the actual matches are about 30 minutes, give or take, yeah? Um, so it's a normal, like, stellar match. They're really working hard, busting their ass. Near the end, Liv gets frustrated and brings in a chair from the timekeeper's area to kind of get her DQ'd. Uh, and Rhea throughout the match is like, kayfabe, like popping her shoulder back into place because she keeps on dislocating it. She does it like two or three times. This time she does it on the turnbuckle and then gives Liv a riptide. She goes to hit her with the chair, but she does it near like the apron, and Dom stops her mid swing. Like she has the chair up, and Dom pulls it from her. Uh, Rhea's like, "What are you doing, dude?" And Dom's like, Dom's justifying it the whole time, saying like, "Hey, you can't win the title if you beat her up with the chair." Blah blah blah. Uh, that was a good enough distraction for Liv to hit the Oblivion for a 2 count. After I think literally one more sequence maybe, Dom like runs around the ring, and as he's doing so, he tosses the chair in the ring near the ropes. He distracts the ref on the opposite side. Liv hits Oblivion on the chair on Rhea for the 3 for the win. He helps her out this time. No excuses. Their thing. She slides out of the ring. He helps her up, and that devil ends up kissing her, or as Michael Cole says, "You son of a bitch." 4 stars for that evil, evil man, and maybe 3.5 stars for jealousy. After some more WWE ads and shelling, which by the way they do it for like half the show, get ready to hear that statement. After that, we see Sami Zayn stretching backstage. He has like one of those elastic ropes. And then they plug another sponsor before we have him versus Braun Breaker. Again, they did like if you're subscribed to their premium, you got to watch like the hype trailer and everything that's gone on for it. But I just sat through like 18 commercials for this. We come back from a commercial, and before the match, we go backstage where the Judgment Day are saying like, "Ah, fuck, this is bad. What the fuck is happening?" That's JD and Finn talking at the same time. And then Priest comes into their locker room, berates them, and then I think this is the point that he pins Finn up against the wall and says, "Did you know this was going to happen?" And then Finn calms down the big man and says he didn't know after like a dramatic pause. Wonder what that means. After that, he says the three of them will look for Dom as Carlito, JD, and him leave Priest alone. After that, we have the match for Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Where Braun hits a spear as a reversal to the haluva kick, and then he picks him up and gives him a spear after a back and forth match. I'm just going to say all these matches were 30 minutes. Somebody can fact track me. That doesn't sound right for every last one of these matches, especially not this match. I was about to say it seemed like 5 minutes when this match happened. But Braun Breaker wins after hitting 2 spears. New IC champion, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Liv again, shout out. 3.5 stars. In my opinion, because I'm a stupid, cynical wrestling fan, Braun Breaker should have been like more dominant than he was, but hey, good job at not making Sami look weak too. And you guessed it, we see a shit ton of more ads after that match, and then we have a sponsored moment of the night. After that, we see Stephanie McMahon. Just going to take a pause. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. Triple H was asked about her showing up like in the post-show thing. And he said, as of right now, she doesn't have an official role in the business, but he'd be happy to see her back at any time, obviously. And then after that, they talk about the Paul brother going against LA Knight. Yeah. And unfortunately, MGK is here. Should have had Eminem. So I'm going to skip the loser on the screen, both the Paul brother and MGK, their entrance. I'm going to skip that. And after that, LA Knight arrives in Paul brother's prime. Gosh, why is that a tongue twister? The Paul Brothers Prime truck. He stole it on SmackDown. Semi-spoiler for SmackDown, I guess. And then he shows up with it and only busts one window out. 0 out of 10. And then after that, he walks to the ring. It was about a 10-minute match, give or take. I wrote down all these are like 10 to 30 minutes. I don't know if my times are accurate. Somebody can fact track me. They got the time somewhere, I'm sure. Anyway, the Paul brother was handed a pair of brass knuckles by MGK. I knew there was a reason why I hated MGK. He tries to use them on the ropes, and it's kind of sloppy how it plays out. It looks like he connected with LA Knight with them, but I guess he didn't, because as soon as he goes back into the ring, like he reverses suplex on the apron, and as soon as he comes back into the ring, LA Knight hits him with a BFT to get the 1, 2, 3 FTW 4 stars. Yeah, great match. I'm glad LA Knight finally has something. It took them long enough to give him something, but he finally got it. I'm happy. I don't think he has that much momentum anymore, but hey, who knows? Maybe this is to build him back up. I hope so. By the way, I haven't mentioned it yet. In case anybody was wondering, the announcers for tonight is Pat McAfee, Corey Graves, and Michael Cole. After some more WWE ads yet again, we get a Manscaped sponsored ad that was it was something. They plug Dead and Roll by Jellyroll because it's the show's theme for the night. I don't know what to call it, but it's like the SummerSlam theme, I guess is the way to say it. And after plugging a couple more sponsors, we have Bayley versus Nia Jax. They do the same like ad package, or you have to watch commercials. And at this point, I wrote it down, but just to kind of say what I've been saying, I understand WWE is a business at the end of the day, and this is one of their big 5, so they have to make it like sponsor heavy. But could you like maybe do me and some other people a favor and make it more wrestling oriented than business oriented? Thank you. XOXO fanboy. I didn't write them down for every match, but during this and other matches, they started showing like facts of the evening, and I found that pretty cool. Kind of nostalgic. I think they do that on Raw and SmackDown still, but it's kind of cool that they can explain the story on these little graphics. During this one, I wrote down that this is Nia Jax's first SummerSlam, which is crazy because she's been in the company at this point like 7, 8 years on and off, give or take, I think. Also, prior to this, her record against Bayley is 5-4. I think that means she's won 5. Yeah. I don't know if she's had these for a while, but Bayley brought back the tassels so bonus points for me. I hate tassels on clothing, but I know if Bayley's got the tassels, that means work rate Bayley's coming back out. So shout out. The crowd pops pretty decent throughout this whole show for like the baby faces and the heels. Just something to kind of comment on. But where it's an outdoor stadium, most of the sound is kind of censored. Like not censored. What's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of muted considering you got an outdoor stadium, but it's still loud for an outdoor stadium, so that's crazy. Me personally, I kind of hate outdoor stadiums just for that reason, but if they can still get a reaction, I mean, just shout out to them, I guess. Also, through this whole event, it's this is the first show that they introduce it in, but the refs have this thing called a ref cam where it's plugged into their ear, and it's literally a little camera coming out of their ear. It's pretty cool. Something to note, during this match, commentary didn't mention Tiffany at all. Even though she's like a crucial part to the story, she's got to come in and try to cash in her Money in the Bank then, right? So fast forward through the match, Bayley has this crazy spot where she does a sit-out powerbomb off the top to Nia Jax, and Tiffany comes out during that spot, even though she promised Nia Jax she wouldn't. She comes out after that spot to try to like cash in, only it was a distraction for Bayley because it was enough for Nia to take advantage, hit 2 annihilators, and become the women's champion. Woohoo! After that, Tiffany joins her in the ring to celebrate, and I don't know if Tiffany's acting or if they planned this out or what, but we get a replay of the match afterwards. So yippee, 4 stars calls. It was a pretty good match. Personally, she's a heel. I think she deserves something to say, hey, good job at improving your work since the last time we saw you, but I don't know if she should be the champion. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I'll let it play out before I judge. After that, we have yet another stupid-ass break, and when we come back, there's a cat in front of my notes, so we wait for her to dozy on by. Alright, as I was saying, when we come back, we have a commercial/hype package thing that I think that's what I'm going to call these, for Drew versus Punk. After that happens, Seth comes out in the most not ref suit possible, but it's okay because he takes it off and has a no-sleeve referee shirt that's been bedazzled red on the stripes. Don't know how legal ref shirt tender that is, but we're going to say it's okay. He also has the referee camera in his ear, but halfway through the match, it kind of messes up, so he just takes it out. Just my opinion on the ref camera spot. It looks cool, but it's definitely a trial and error type of thing. This reminds me of when WCW tried like the corner cameras, and maybe WWE tried that. I think maybe they tried that. They're cool, but like, I think you're fine with like 2 cameras. So something random is that they start listing off like guest referees, and they said that Triple H was one in 2011. That's probably true, but I could have sworn that he was one for Braun versus Cena in 2013. Yeah, because that's the event where he turns heel and Orton cashes in because Cena couldn't get the job done in storyline, and Orton cashes in to win the title, and that's when the Authority becomes a thing. So yeah, they forgot to mention that one. Come on. Something interesting to note is that for CM Punk, they mentioned the fact that he walked out of WWE when he did. So that's kind of interesting that they mentioned that instead of just like glazing around it and just saying, oh, he was gone from wrestling, like, the Vince era used to. Punk's gear, by the way, is similar to the one he wore in like I'm trying to think. I think it was 2012 or 13 at SummerSlam. So it's the one that's kind of like Bret Hart inspired. So yeah, you know what? It's pretty cool. Seth was semi-impartial during this match, but he also tried to like anger both of the men and get them to attack him throughout the match. So, yeah, you'll figure out what I mean by that. I kind of wrote down a step-by-step review for this one, so just bear with me. He rings the bell, and then they both almost sandwich him, like, right off the bat. He kind of has to move out of the way. They both do the 5 count in the corners, like punching, which Seth counts to 5. And last time I noticed things, the 5 count is you have until the count of 5, and then if you don't leave at the count of 5, you're disqualified. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the ref interferes, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But whatever. He knows more about wrestling than I do. But yeah, he does that spot to both of them and tells them, hey, I'm the referee. You have to listen to me. So yeah, whatever. They start fighting outside the ring. And Rollins doesn't even count them out during the time. He kind of like looks the other way. He starts counting and then he like goes up in the corner and sleeps up in the corner. Punk uses stairs as a weapon and Rollins goes to tie his shoe during that to like kind of, say, I didn't see it. Drew goes to... I had a typo here. It threw me off. Let me try that again. Drew goes to use the ring, like the steel grate, as a slingshot, and Rollins pretends to stop him. He goes up to him and he's like, hey, hey, hey. And then he says, screw it. Rollins goes for a slow count on Drew, and then just a little side note real quick. Punk takes beautiful suplexes. Like when he snaps off for suplexes, he does it so fast, and it works. Rollins goes for a slow count yet again for Drew, and Drew's kind of getting worked up at this point. Also, call me nostalgic if you want, but watching Punk fight reminds me so much of 2014. And the whole time I was like, wow, this is crazy how if I can speak, how much this takes me back seeing Seth versus Punk. It's like a random episode of Raw the last time they fought. After a couple of panic tips, Drew gets in Rollins' face about slow counting and doing shenanigans and what. He gets a chair as Seth is has his back turned and is checking on Punk. Drew's trying to tell him to ignore it, and he can take away both of their problems by attacking Punk. Seth turns around, but as Drew lifts the chair, he pulls it down. And on commentary, they say Shades of '96, which is the the Shawn, Taker, and Brett spot. They try to do the exact spot, where Shawn swung at Brett, but Brett ducks and Taker eats it. Only when Seth swings at Drew, Drew ducks and Seth stops right before he gets to Punk. Rollins pulls off the ref cam about this point because I guess the battery pack fell is what I've heard. No heat on him for that though. And then later on in the match, after some sequences, Drew gets put in the Anaconda vice grip, but Punk stops it to take his bracelet back. Don't know why he would do that. Him stopping there was enough time for Drew to get back up and give him a Claymore for the count of 2. Later on, Punk goes for the GTS, but then he notices that Seth has his bracelet. Dun, dun, dun. They get into a verbal altercation after that, which ends with Drew shoving Rollins. I think he shoves Punk into Rollins, and then Punk gets a visual 3 count on Drew, but it's only a 2 by the time Rollins gets up. Punk argues with him and gives him a GTS after Rollins tells him that it's not on him, that he's going slow. That was enough of a distraction for McIntyre to low blow him, shades of Clash at the Castle, and then Claymore Punk for the long 3 count that's as clean as a dirty finish can be. Punk loses his bracelet once again as Drew takes it off, and he poses with his foot on Punk. 4.5 stars. I love these story beats. Hopefully this isn't the end, but if it is the end for now, this was a beautiful way to end it. And it definitely made me want to see where the story goes. So good job. Keep it up. After the 80th ad of the night, we see Priest and Finn talking about what happened earlier. They both say sorry for it, but the demon lunchbox is in the background, and you know what that means. After this, we have Priest versus Gunter. Halfway through said match, Gunter gets busted open the hard way on the corner of his eye and his chest. I don't know how it happened. And Finn ends up coming out sometime when that happens. You thought he was going to help Priest, but he ends up screwing him over by putting Gunter's foot on the rope steering a 3 count. Priest didn't know that until he watches the replay. And the whole time after that, he just wants to choke out Finn. That's enough of a distraction for Gunter to put him into a sleeper hold to win. Rest in peace to Judgment Day tonight after all these. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. JD the group, not McDonough. I didn't rate that one, but I'll say 4 stars. Why not? After that, Miz and Truth come out to do like the attendance thing, whatever. During that, A-Town Down Under come out, and they do the Hills talk up until they get beaten down. And who beat them down this time? Well, it was Jellyroll, and he was stiff as shit with the chair shots and the choke slams. Damn. After that, we have our main event with Cody versus Solo. Solo comes out and looks like he's about to cry for some reason. Same for Cody. They both look like they're about to cry their eyes out. Cody is seen like walking from the backstage. And when he does, he runs into Arn Anderson. And Arn says that he's going to pull out the Glock and shit. I mean, he's got some friends backstage. He says he has some influence still. Cody will have some friends. This match is a good one-on-one for about half of it until God comes out. By name, by the way. Commentary calls them Gorillas of Destiny. That fucking popped me. After that, Owens comes out to help, but to no prevail. And after he gets beaten up for a little bit, Orton comes out. So I guess there's still this little tag team. And they fight God to the back. After that, Cody goes for the 3 crossroads, I think. Oh, no, sorry. After that, we get like finisher spams galore. Cody hits a crossroads. He gets a kick out at 2. Then after that, Cody tries to beat him up with the steps, but misses. Like, he hits him 2 times, and then he goes for the 3rd one. He misses because he hits a spear for a 2 count. Later on, he tries to do the 3 crossroads thing I just mentioned, but Jacob Fatu comes out of nowhere and makes a mess out of Cody. He puts Solo on top of him, and somehow Cody kicks out at 2. Jacob gets pissed off and starts beating him up. He takes him outside and super kicks him into the announce table. Jacob then puts Rhodes through the announce table with a splash off the top and hurts his leg. I don't know if it's kayfabe or a work shoot type of deal, or if it's an actual injury. Triple H addresses it later saying he hopes that he's not hurt. I don't know. I hope he's not hurt either way. But it was convenient that he was out of the ring for what happens later. Anyway, pause on that. After the splash and like 18 other finishers, they collapse at the same time like both men do. And then I wrote down, and then, as if a spirit overtook my soul, I hear the Tribal Chief's theme, and my right arm shoots up with the one as high as I can. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yours and my Tribal Chief has returned. Roman Reigns is back. He comes in the ring. He Superman punches and spears Solo to a huge pop. The huge pop was just me screaming at my TV the whole time. He looks at Cody afterwards and gives him a head nod and just walks away. Cody dramatically delivers a crossroads after that to say he didn't need Reigns to do that. He did it. He finished off Solo and he gets the 3 count. Cody retains the title as Reigns and him stare each other down. We see a replay of the night and what happened to end it. 4.5 stars. I'm so happy to see my Tribal Chief back. So before I get into the overall, I meant to do this for each match, but I figured it'd be fun still to give you like a predictions type of thing, even though I just gave away all the match. So like, here's what I thought would happen for the matches. Ready? I gotta scroll through these kayfabe. So for Rhea versus Liv, honestly, I had Rhea for that, so boo. But I did predict Dom was going to, like, betray Rhea. I guess if I predicted Dom would betray Rhea, I should have predicted that Liv would win then. But I didn't. I figured she was, like, a transitional champion. Guess she's not. Sami versus Braun. Honestly, I probably would have said Sami. So I think that's 0-2 for me. Even though Braun shouldn't have lost that, I figured they would have had him still lose it somehow. For Paul Brother versus LA Knight, just because I'll never pull for Paul Brother, I would have had LA Knight. But honestly, I could have seen if this went either way, to be honest. For Bayley versus Nia Jax, I would have picked Bayley because I sure as hell don't want to see Nia Jax as the champion. Not because of her, but because she's good at being a heel, if that makes sense. And honestly, I probably would have predicted that Tiffany would like cash in somehow on Nia, or even Bayley for. I figured Bayley would have won, but then Tiffany would have cashed in on like an injured Bayley, setting up a program between her and Nia. Drew versus Punk. Honestly, I would have said Seth would have screwed over whoever, but I don't know who I would have picked there. So I'm going to say my heart of hearts says I would have picked Punk because I love Punk, but I don't know who I would have picked there. Priest versus Gunter. I think my heart would have picked Gunter just because I knew it was his time regardless. But I don't know if I would have considered, and I knew that Finn versus Priest is bound to happen. I figured they'd have that for the title, but I don't know. And Cody versus Solo. I think I tackled all the matches now. Cody versus Solo. I would have had Solo win, and then after Solo wins, he's like, "Acknowledge me as the Tribal Chief," and they put on the necklace thing. I don't remember what they call the lei. And as he puts it on, you hear the OG Tribal Chief song, and that's how we end it with like a stare down. That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm more than happy on what we got. Hi, I don't know why I said hi. This is like in the middle of a review, even though I'm editing this in. So for a while now, since they've done it, basically, I wanted to give like the results of WWE Speed, but I figured I'm never going to actually watch it. So shout out to the SmackDown Hotel for actually having every last correct me if I'm wrong, every last tournament episode, and every last result down here. So I'm just going to give them speedball them off to you. Ready? So the April 3rd, 2024 episode, the very first one, Ricochet defeated Dragon Lee. And this is a tournament to see who's going to be the first champion. So Ricochet defeats Dragon Lee. Bronson Reed defeats Cedric Alexander. And that's all they had on that episode. They had two matches on that episode. Then we go to the April 10th episode. JD defeats Axiom. I don't know why I tried to say his full name. I never did. Episode 3 on April 17th. Johnny Gargano defeats Angel. Episode 4 on April 24th. For the semifinal, Ricochet defeats JD. Episode 5, May 1st, Johnny Gargano defeats Bronson Reed. Episode 6 on May 3rd. For the tournament finale, Ricochet defeats Johnny Gargano to become the new champion. So then we take like a week pause, and we have a number 1 contenders tournament where Ivar defeats Apollo Crews on May 8th. And then on May 15th, Tyler Bate defeats Umberto. His name was just shortened to Berto. I was so confused. Episode 9 on May 22nd for number 1 contendership. Tyler Bates defeats Apollo Crews. Oh, that's the finals. So I guess it was like I'm so confused. Why did he defeat Apollo Crews if Apollo Crews lost against Ivar? I don't know. But anyway, Tyler Bates became the number 1 contender for the title. And then on episode number 10, May 24th, 2024, Ricochet ends up defeating Tyler Bates to retain the championship. May 29th, we have another number 1 contenders tournament where Tommaso Ciampa defeats Ludwig Kaiser. Then June 5th, we have Andrade defeating Carl Anderson. And then in the finale for that, Andrade defeats Tommaso Ciampa. Then episode 14th on June 14th, that's kind of convenient, Andrade defeats Ricochet to become the 2nd ever champion. Episode 15, we start the number 1 contendership all over again, where Xavier Woods defeats Dijak. And then June 26th, number 16, Nathan Frazier defeats Akira Tozawa. Then episode 17, July 3rd, Xavier Woods defeats Nathan Frazier. So for the finale, he becomes the number one contender. Xavier Woods does. And then episode 18 on July 5th, Andrade defeats Xavier Woods to retain the title. On episode 19, July 10th, I can't believe we've almost been through 20 of these. Holy shit. There's another number one contenders tournament. Baron Corbin defeats Angelo Dawkins. Then episode 20, July 17th, Ilya Dragunov defeats Carmelo Hayes. Oh, sorry, it ends in a draw via time limit between Carmelo Hayes and Dragunov. I'm running out of breath, sorry. On episode number 21, July 24th, there's a championship match between Andrade and Baron Corbin, where Andrade wins. Number 22, July 31st, there's a number one contenders tournament between Joaquin Wilde. I'm sorry, I don't watch NXT. He defeat Axiom. Number 23, August 2nd, 2024, there's number one contenders tournament quarterfinal between Pete Dunne, who defeats Julius Creed. And then there was a match. Yeah, today there was an episode, August 7th. And the results are as followed. Give me a second. Okay, Javon Evans was, I think we're in a number one contender quarterfinal still. He took on Ashante the Adonis, and he won against Adonis to advance into the contenders tournament. Spoiler alert, question mark? Hold on a second, let me see. Was there anything else that happened, or is that literally just it that he won? Okay, so the next one is Pete Dunne versus Mr. Wild. I can't say your first name, I apologize. In the quarterfinals. And whoever emerges from that tournament, whoever emerges from this is going against Andrade. So we're in the quarterfinals currently. I think it happens every Wednesday, so who knows? Maybe I'll try to update you on each episode of SmackDown. I don't know. I'll update you eventually. From the episode past August 7th onward, I'll update you. Anyway, back to the Alright, now that I figured it'd be fun just to throw out those predictions. Hopefully next time I'll put up the predictions before before the actual event happens. Shocker, I know. But overall, I'd rate this show 3.5 stars. Everything that should have happened, in my opinion, happened. Some of the matches I could have seen going either way and I wouldn't have been upset. But they played it safe. They stuck close to the cards close to their chest. I hope Jacob Fatu is okay. I heard Logan Paul's injured. I never want anybody to be injured, but it's Logan Paul, so I'm not going to say get better soon. I don't know. Does that make me a shitty person? I don't know. Anyway, 3.5 stars. They played it safe. I enjoyed this. Sooner than later, I'll upload I almost said last night, Monday's episode of Raw, and then I'll upload the previous week or however I'm going to do that episode. So just tune in if you want to see a bunch of wrestling. We also got OG SmackDown number 1, last week's SmackDown, and this week's SmackDown coming up throughout the week. So stay motherfucking locked in. Anyway,